Hey, this is John Wooding. I'll show you how to look at a house for varmints, how to inspect it, figure out where they're going in, and then give you a few pointers on how to fix the problem. This is a squirrel cavity in a hollow tree. This is the kind of hole that you're looking for in a house. Something like that. To the squirrel, the house is just a weird shaped tree. Probably even better though, because it's got heat. Here's a cavity big enough for a possum or a raccoon. A lot of animals will use holes in the ground for safety, a safe place to sleep, get out of the weather, have their babies. It's not hard to understand why animals go underneath houses. When you inspect a house to see if varmints are going in, I start by just walking around the house and looking. The person in this house said they've seen squirrels up on this eave, so we'll go up there and check it out. This is the eave where the squirrels were seen. They're coming up, I imagine, to check it out. They're checking out this hole. It's not big enough for them. It's big enough for a flying squirrel, but there's no flying squirrels right here, so we're not worried about them. But since the gray squirrels are checking it out, we want to go ahead and fix it before they start going in the house. They'll actually chew the wood and enlarge the hole, and then they go. You want to check out vents like this one. This has the wire on it intact, so it's okay. But I tell you though, sometimes this wire can fool you because it can be loose. An animal can push in and the wire will fall behind them, and it's really hard to tell. Let's see about this one. Nah, it's all tight. We'll look around the front. That all looks okay. No holes. Everything looks solid. Nothing to even suspect. The chimney is a maybe spot for animals to come in. This one has a solid cap on it, and it's secure. You probably want to take a quick look up on the roof too and look for vents. This roof has a ridge vent that's secure. Those pipes are for the plumbing. Squirrels will chew the base of those pipes, especially if they have lead around the bottom. There's a lead boot that they'll put up there to keep it from leaking. And you can look at those, and sometimes you'll need to bring a roofer in and have them repair them. On any house, when you've got eaves like this that meet the roof, on the second floor, first floor too for that matter, but that's a great place to look right up in there. There are often holes in those places. Vents at the top of eaves are good places for animals to go in. So you want to check these vents and make sure there's wire behind them. They're supposed to be, but sometimes it gets torn out. So you can sometimes check it from the outside with a ladder, but sometimes you have to go in the attic and look. If you don't know what animal you're dealing with, often you can look around the attic and find their poop, and that'll help you. These ducks like this, animals often run them and go to the bathroom on them, and so that's a great place to look. If it's rats or squirrels, it'll be a pellet, and the squirrels look a little bit bigger than the rat. If it's raccoons or possums, it's going to look like a cat poop, except probably with seeds in it, or maybe bones. This is a side vent, and it's completely covered with screen. There's no breaks in it or anything to indicate something might be coming in. If there's rats here, you'll know it, because they'll smell so bad. It is just one of the, it's something else. And once you've got that smell wrapped around you, you'll never forget it. When they have a deck, you definitely want to look under the deck and see if you can find anywhere where a possum or a skunk might be going under the house. These are great places for animals to enter. You probably want to look for footprints. These are raccoon tracks. Sometimes you can see tracks around the house, and that'll help you figure out what's going on. If you look at the top of this brick wall, you can see that there's a hole, there's bricks missing, and it goes into the attic. You think, how would an animal get up there? Where a squirrel could climb the wall just like it was nothing. Or he could come in off the roof and come in off the gutter. So could a raccoon or a possum. They're so agile. Many houses are too slippery for animals to climb, and so instead they'll go up a tree and then jump on the roof. Sometimes you can trim a single branch and that'll end your problem. This is the kind of place you're looking for, a hole in the wall. And this one goes right into the basement. It's a clear shot, and it's plenty big for a possum or a raccoon. Here's another hole going into the basement where a pipe went in and they didn't seal behind it, and so that's a great place for an animal to go in. Here's a good entry point. The tin roof, the tin's lifted up on the corner. There you go. That's a good hole. Electrical wire coming right to it where you can run it, jump off, and go right in the house. This is what you're looking for. Here's a tin roof that the tin's been pulled up. There's chew marks on the edge of the metal. and it's a definite entry point for a squirrel. Here's another entry point. You can see on the eave where it meets the roof. Here's another hole. The rotten board goes straight to the attic through that hole. Here's a spot on this house. A hole going under the roof's big enough for a raccoon or a possum or a squirrel. Once you finish the inspection, you should have a good idea about what kind of animal you're dealing with and where they're going in and out of the house. Then it's time to plan to finish up. And finishing up means to get the animals out and to repair the spots. If you plan to trap, you probably should contact your state Game and Fish Commission office and ask them what permits you need to do the trapping so you'll stay legal. If they're going under the house, like a possum or a skunk, you can put a trap right by the hole. You can also rig the trap up by facing it towards the house with boards on either side, secured well, and that way if the animal's under there and he comes out, he'll come straight in the trap. If you're not sure if a hole's in use, an easy way to test it is to take a ball of newspaper and stuff it in the hole. If the animal's using it, he'll push the newspaper out of the way. This works well on the roof too for holes up there. If he's climbing maybe a post at the front porch, on the front porch, like a raccoon will do, put the trap at the bottom of the post. The roof's a great place to put traps. Flat roofs, you can just set them on the roof. You can secure it to the roof with a screw or maybe to the siding with a screw. You'll just have to fill the hole when you're done. The attic is a good place to set traps, especially if you've sealed up the house and you still hear animals running around. I wanted to show you just a little trick. If the hole that you found is in use, the animal's using it, a squirrel for example, here's an easy, cheap way to rig up a one-way door that he'll come out on his own and then he can't go back in. That's just a swinging door. See? Swings up when he pushes out. It's got hardware cloth on it that you would secure around the hole. You can cut the hardware cloth to fit it. I just did this so you could see it. The final solution to all the animal problems in a house is to fix the house. You can do it with boards or wire, caulking, expanding foam. There's just any number of ways to repair the holes. When you finish up, just touch it up with a little paint and you're done. If you don't take this step of fixing the holes, it's likely you're just going to have a recurring problem. I'm going to fix this hole we looked at earlier. I've got some hardware cloth, 1/4-inch mesh. I rolled a piece of it up. Oops, there went that piece. And then I'm going to wedge it in the hole really tight and then come back and caulk on top of it. That ought to do it, and once the caulk dries, we can come back and touch it up, and that's it, fixed. Hey, this house was easy that we spent the most time on. They'd seen squirrels on the roof, but they weren't coming in the house, so we just fixed a few cracks, and that was it. That wrapped it up. Some houses are hard, especially got multiple holes or multiple species living in them, but you can fix those just as well. You just take your time and go slow. If you fix a house for squirrels, particularly look out on the repairs from the outside that they're not coming back and trying to work their way in by chewing, because they can really chew up a house. If you feel like you can't do it, hire somebody like myself to come help you, and we'll be glad to. That does it. See ya.